Hey everybody, it's Marty, the JavaScript party here, and I got my buddy Rhett, and we are just getting ready to write some code. Here you go, here's your nut, Rhett. We just finished up our Cypress video, and that was good, the demo video. So I think Cypress is awesome. I kind of wish I had built it in this application, but we're here to talk about this voice analyzer application. So just a quick rundown. A couple years back, I don't know, maybe 5 years back, the browsers started implementing voice APIs, and there's kind of two parts of it. One is like making voices, like talking and stuff, and then the other part is like listening for stuff. And unfortunately, like the API just sort of it's never got past sort of the what would you call it? Like they call it WebKit, but basically it's a point where like the standard hasn't been completely agreed to by everybody. So they kind of got some stuff working, and so we can kind of move forward. And so as long as then this is an indicator of where the browser's at, like what the browser provides. And right now, basically, we have a WebKit speech recognition API. There is no regular speech recognition API. So theoretically, at some point in the future, there'll probably be a little bit of time where we have a WebKit, where we have the WebKit and the speech, and the speech will have some changes in it that will hopefully make it better, and then the WebKit will be available so that it doesn't break, so that your existing code can continue to work for a little bit, and then everybody will need to shift over to speech. Now, one of the things that I think that probably, like personally, when I was working with this stuff was that, or as I've been working on this, is I think it was a huge mistake, because one of the huge mistakes they made was they tied it to the, let's look at the code here, locale. So basically, the general idea is that they wanted to create a locale for each WebKit, or a voice recognition for each locale. Hang on one second. Leave her alone. We just got a puppy, Siberian Husky. When we got it, we thought he was about a year old, because he's a big boy. But now it looks like he's only like 6 months old. So I don't know how big this dog's going to get. But he was kind of eyeing Rhett. So I just wanted to make it clear to him that Rhett is in the pack, not to be eaten. But anyways, they tied it to locale. And the problem is that like there are a lot more languages than locales, and a lot of languages that I think there's a lot of interest in saving and making good, making sort of available. Because like one of the languages I wanted to play with was like there were some very interesting languages that the American Indians, or like Australian Aborigines, like all kinds of languages that have been created, and not all those languages have associated locales. So like I don't know if that's one of the hang-ups. Like they're like, oh man, it'd be nice if we could have Klingon or whatever. But so when I started working with it, like I immediately just got confused and got like, it was just like, what is going on here? But they do have two flavors of it, and they have like a discrete, which a discrete is like it listens for something. When it thinks you're done talking, it turns itself off. And then they have a continuous, which continually runs. The very first thing I implemented was this logs section, so that I could just see like the events as they come in and all that. So like if I say, hello world, and then I see that so it thinks there's 4 possible things I said. And for some reason in English, about, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, they started having like all these alternate spellings, like hello with a W at the end, hello with 5 O's, another one with seven O's. Like I have never seen this in any other language. I'm not sure. The one thing that you got to consider when you're thinking about voice API that I learned as part of this was that it really isn't about the browser. It's more about the operating system. So basically, the browser is handing off this behavior or handing off information to the operating system. The operating system is returning it back. So there's a lot of moving parts here, right? Because you could have a different browser that could be implemented a slightly different way on a different operating system, which is implemented a certain way, and there's just no telling what you're going to get back. But when you look over here at the logs, what you'll see is that we have these are the events, right? So at the top, that would have been cool to say events, but this was the event name, start, and then this is everything that came with it. It would be kind of nice, I guess, if this was collapsible too and expandable. But so we got a start event, and then right afterwards we got another event called audio start, and then right after that we got another event called sound start, and then right after that we got speech start, and then we finally got our data, which was hello world, and then these are the different levels of confidence, and then we got a speech end. Then that was followed by a sound end, which was then followed by audio end, and then finally end. So that's sort of the life cycle of a discrete event, right? So when we have the first thing I did get going was the logs, because that was like I was very confused about events and all that. So then the next thing was this discrete and getting this working and getting these different things going. And then the next thing was API. And the general idea that I wanted to get out of the API was I wanted to know if something was added that I wasn't expecting. And I believe you'll get a question mark. So like, let's say they added, I don't know, discontinue or something like that. Then I would see the discontinue in here with a little question mark next to it, because I don't know what discontinue does. Then also, like, let's say they got rid of something, then continuous would come up, but it would have like a red X next to it. Like, let's say they got rid of continuous or dispatch event or grammars or something, and it's just no longer there. So that's as far as I went with that. I don't actually check to see if it's the same, like if something changed about it. I just check to see if it exists or doesn't exist. So that was that. And then, so I've started continuous now, and continuous is working. It doesn't have any results, and but the logs do work. And that was pretty unintentional. I mean, that was intentional and unintentional. Like I was happy to see that it worked. I wasn't 100% sure that it was going to work. But basically, when you click record continuous, you have to. It will continue to record until you stop. So like, hello world, how are you? And stop. And so there's some signals. This will tell you how many results it got. It is not accurate at this point. So that would be interesting to dig into. Signals are a kind of a new thing. And when I started coding it on this, they were a brand new thing. But like, so when I click over here, then I got 4 more records. So I don't know when it, like if it's, I'm not sure exactly how it decided to update this, but we could see that unlike discrete, we start getting these results, and I believe we'll get another, see, we get multiple results. So the first result was like hello, and it's like very low confidence. And I don't really know what that means, and it only got 1 result. And then I think I might have noticed something yesterday afterwards when I was watching the video. So then the second result back we got was hello world, and it's still very low confidence. And then for some reason, and it almost always does that, it sort of gave me another result, which got rid of the world. It just said hello, and then 89%. So I don't know, like if some other asynchronous event thing happened in the back that then said, oh, okay, that first one, this is, we now were pretty sure he said hello. And so then we got another one for hello. And then we got another hello. And another hello. And then we got another hello world. So I think we got like a hello, hello world, both very low. And then all of a sudden we got 3 high hello worlds. And I'm guessing this is not, oh, I don't know. It might be part of the OS. It might not be part of it. But it is, that was pretty awkward if you think about it. But we still have a result count of 1. And then all of a sudden we got hello world how. And that one has a high result. And I guess R. And I guess as it starts to make, I believe what it's doing is it's starting to see that the contents world how R makes hello makes more sense. So it's feeling really good about hello how are, and then hello how are you is really good. And then same, but now we're up to 97. We still have a result count of 1. And that was it. And then it ended. And I felt like there was something unusual about, yeah, I don't know. So return value true, cancel bubble, cancelable results, bubble phases. So that's like sort of one sort of use case. And we're able to kind of see what happens in here, so then we can kind of make better decisions on what we'd want to see. The other use case, I think, and I'm just going to hit reload so we can start fresh. I'm going to hit continuous, and I'm going to like say, like, let's say I wanted to make a little calculator, right, where it can add numbers together. So the idea would be that like you turn this on, and maybe you're doing like an inventory, and you're just saying like a number and then another number and then number. So you're like counting things, and you're just going to say the number so that it's easier. So you don't have to type it in. You can just say it into it. So it's just like this. 1, 5, 3. So it says we got 8. We ended up with 12. I don't know. Let's see what we got when we did that. So transcript of 1, and it's a numeric one, which is interesting because sometimes I'll see it have the 1 O in. 1 O, and then very low confidence. And I don't think you're going to be able to code off confidence. I don't think confidence, I don't know what confidence means, but I don't think it definitely doesn't mean what I think it means, and it doesn't seem to stay consistent. So now it's 15, which, that's kind of I didn't say 15. I said 1, and then I didn't say anything for a while. Then I said 5. So that's a good thing to kind of know. And it still stayed at 5. But see, this time it gave a bunch of results, and it did catch the space. And then it's also said 1, and it actually gave a very high thing. And then it put a minus. So I have no idea where it got the concept of minus from. And then it got +1, and then +1 minus. So that, I think, has good information and bad information. And I don't know how you differentiate. Maybe in this case, yeah, not even the highest. Like, I don't know why it has a +1. Yeah, that's pretty wild. So the first result was 1. I feel like this is the most accurate result. And I thought I said more than 1 and 5. So that's weird, right? And I don't know. It's not particularly useful, I don't think. And so this, yeah. So I feel like you would have to say another word in the middle. So let's just try that. I mean, people are trainable. So you might have to say, like you have to say a word in between. So we're going to say plus in between. So 1 + 5 + 3. So we got our 1, very low confidence. Got our 1 plus, 1 plus 5. Okay, so that I think is very good. I'm really happy with that. 1, we're back to 1 again. 1 plus, let's see, was that 1 plus 5? So that was very low confidence on that. Plus 5, 1, and then it gets all these really goofy results. And then 1 plus 5. And if we don't get the plus 3, then I'm going to be a little bit suspicious that this is an Angular issue, Angular signals issue that we're, because it, but we did, so are we, yeah, so we got result after result after result, and then we did get the end. So now I don't think it's an Angular issue, because we did get this end. We got audio end, sound ended, speech end. We got result. So we're missing the plus 3. Result, result. So that is weird. And that makes me a little bit like I feel so like there was kind of two, like I wanted to build, at the end of all this thing I want to build an actual application. There's kind of two kind of apps I was thinking about, potential apps, and one of them was like a app that lets you say like hello in a bunch of different languages, right? So like I could be like this, hello. And then it would be like, oh, okay, yeah, you said hello, right, in English. And then I could come in here and I could be like, okay, now I want to see Spanish. That's the only one that I know off the top of my head. Spain, Spanish. I think Spain, Spanish, it's still hola. And then hola. And so I could be like, yes, you said it right, and give a little check mark, a green check mark or whatever. And I think that could be a fun application to build. The other application I was thinking about was like, oh, like a calculator. So 1 plus 5 plus 3. Stop. But, you know, I was kind of, the whole idea would be like somebody would do like, would be using it in their, like, as they were doing like some sort of inventory or something like that. So when you do it real fast like that, it works, but it does not seem to work when you have a break in between, right? So, and that is the whole idea of this application, is just to see how this stuff works, you know, and then decide at that point what would be a good application that would be fun and interesting. So, but if you do it slow, 1 plus 5 plus 3. Now, last time it never even, if you go to the bottom, it never even gets there. It never gets the last plus 3. Yeah, we get plus 5. And just the fact that we got our end events tells me that we probably never got that from, like, it's messed up. And there have been things that have been messed up like that that I've done in these videos, and a few weeks later they were working just fine. Like there were certain words that it was just ignoring early on in discrete, and then like a few weeks later they were working. But let's just try 1 plus 5 plus 3 plus 4. 1 plus 5 plus 3 plus 4. All right, let's see. We just go to the end. That's weird. So the last thing it did for us was, so I don't know. I'm not feeling good about. Well, okay, so there's a couple things that might be going on here. One, I just may not understand how this, what the intentions of this were, was, you know. So we got our 1, and then all we got was plus 5, and now the 1 is gone in the results. Plus plus 5. Like, I just don't know how you're going to know in code what to do with the information that's coming across. And it just seemed to leave, it just seemed to have left a lot off. So right now I have very high, I'm very skeptical we'll be able to do anything useful with this. But I do think that we can, so we're kind of one of those phases when you're coding. Like sometimes when you're coding, it's very clear what you need to do. And then sometimes it's very unclear what you need to do. And then sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, there's 10 different things I need to do. And they can all be done right now. And I don't know which would be the best one to do first. And that's the state we're in right now. So I think the first thing to do, and this is a bit of a punt because I really want more time to sort of think through what I just experienced, with the continuous. So I think the first thing to do is just work on the types. And so I can't remember our interfaces, right? So we do have interfaces. Right now, we have languages. Is it under voice? So we have our discrete results. So, and then we have our discrete transcript. And I don't think those are different, right? So at this point, I think they're the same, but I think I'm going to make separate ones just in case. Like, there's way too much information from here. Like, there might be other information. Right now, I care about the language, the transcript, confidence, the count, the max alternatives, and all transcripts. Oh, I didn't realize that I included all transcript in our discrete transcripts. So I feel like I should just make a carbon copy of these for now. Maybe they'll be identical at the end and we'll just combine them and just call them like results. But for the moment, I want to have like sort of the flexibility to modify one and be able to compare and contrast as we move forward. So I'm going to call this continuous result. And things will get clearer and make a little bit more sense, like what to do and how things work and all that. Like the very first thing you do is going to be screwy, because you're like, and then as you work on other aspects of it, then things will start to become more clear. And you got to have the discipline to go back and update things as they do. Like there's just almost 100% chance that this is not going to be it's going to be either incomplete or just plain wrong, but at some point. So now another thing we can work on, and it'd be a good time, let's see, we're at 23 minutes, would be in the speech service. I did notice that we have something called a all log signal and a voice results signals. I think this should be discrete results signal, or discrete voice. So let's go ahead and refactor that. And I haven't ever tried to refactor a signal before, so let's see if how well the compiler does finding all the places where I need to update. This is Angular 19, and if I'm being honest, I've never worked at a place that was beyond Angular 14. So this is very, very cutting edge. I really enjoy watching the Angular live streams, and I know that they say that and I believe them, that they update like thousands of Google applications after every upgrade. So like they're getting ready, I believe in 7 days they're going to be dropping Angular 20 And as part of that, the Angular team will literally update over 1,000 Google Angular applications, um, which I think is really interesting. And I honestly think, I mean, I'm sure this is not a good thing to say, but if that is not your intention, you probably shouldn't do Angular. As far as like as an organization making a decision to use Angular, if you're not going to update it, because the problem with web apps is they just age very quickly. Things are constantly changing on the browser, and standards are constantly changing. And you just if you want to build a web application and you want to keep it up to date, your only chance, I think, is to use Angular, it's like the biggest complaint most people have about Angular is they're like, oh man, they do an upgrade breaking changes every 6 months, and it's just like, yeah, that's because they're the messenger. They're not the ones changing the way everything is. And like sometimes the changes are like in the browser. Sometimes the changes are just like cultural. Like people have just decided, oh, we don't want to go this direction anymore in enterprise code. There's all kinds of reasons it changes, and it's not really their fault. So, you know, they're they're just making the best of a bad situation. Um, anyway, so now we've seems to have worked. I guess we should test it real quick. Hello world. Yes, everything seems to be working just fine. Um, I'm so comfortable with this now. It's just incredible. Um, okay, so we're going to create a new continuous result signal. So one of the things I don't like about this that I want to fix, that I consider to be broken, is like if you do this. Oop. Hello world. How are you doing? Everything is fine. Like this discrete starts. I would rather these guys not um, update. And it's kind of funny that it just keeps returning the same original thing, so I don't know what that's all about. But and then you can't, when you come here, you can't stop it. So that is something that I definitely want to fix. But and it's still recording right now. If we come down here, let's see where we're at. But it's still returning hello world, which is really strange to me. Um, and I think that's a pretty good indication that like something is different about the way discrete works, and like maybe there's more information somewhere or something like that, and we're gonna need, as we dig in, maybe we'll find out that there's something else going on, because honestly, like it's weird that it just says hello world every time. And so I think there is some discovery to happen. But anyways, so yeah, that's why I said there's just like 100 things to work on. Um, so now I do not want discrete signal to run if we're in continuous mode. And I think the only way I'm going to be able to accomplish that is when there's a place where we start I guess we can stop recording now. There's a place where we start. I'm going to move this, get rid of this console log. Where we start where we start our recording. It's called I think it's .start. I'm going to hit save here, and I'm going to go to my delete component. It's to my record button. And this discrete record. So I think what needs to happen is, well, I guess we can actually check the recognition. This is always a tough thing because it's kind of like, okay, do I want to just depend on recognition and just look at what recognition's value is? Yeah, that's probably what I want to do. Because if this changes, the whole application's broken, right? There's like no point. Like if they break it to this level, like it's like probably best to start from scratch. Maybe not a guaranteed, but it probably is. All right, so basically we're going to check on that, and we're only going to update the discrete. We're only going to update the discrete signal whenever that is false. That variable. See, because we have a generic result handler, but we only want to update the. So we always want to update the log listing, but we only want to publish. I really wish they had named that publish instead of set. I would love to know why. They probably should name it set, but I would love to know why that is. And I like to write code in more like a positive way, so let's say else. I guess there's no reason not to actually code it correctly at this point. Like typically usually in this case I don't have whatever, so we already implemented discrete, so I don't have the whatever I need to do in this case. That's why a lot of times you'll see in code people like doing null, not. So basically, here's what I think I've done. I think I've said, this should be continuous. I think I've set it up to where like if it's continuous, if we're continuous, it's going to publish on the continuous voice result signal. If it's not continuous, and theoretically the only other option would be discrete. Who knows in the future if that's going to stay the case. But if it's not continuous, then we're going to publish on the discrete voice result signal. And in both cases, we'll update the logs, which I think makes a lot of sense. Something definitely seems weird about the data. Like it seems like I'm just missing something on the continuous side. So I think to test that what I believe in my head is true is that I'll turn continuous on, continue to talk and all that, see that the logs are still updating, but discrete is not updating. That should prove what I'm saying. Let's see. Continuous. Hello world. How are you? So nothing there. This doesn't do anything anyways, but logs are updating. And if we go to the last logs, it's just going to say hello world, and it's got to be something. It's got to be something just that we're missing here. So we'll, when we console log, we'll do that. But right now, I'm not listening to anything. So I think in the next video, if it makes sense, the next Saturday, I will update this to start. I'll create a new results, continuous results component that listens for continuous results, and we'll go from there. The other thing, I do need to probably next Saturday actually I'll say that, hey, when you come back, if we're currently recording, allow the stop. I think it will stop because no, it won't, but I think I can stop it. Yeah, so I was able to stop it, but let's see what that last, see if it's just hello world all the way to the end. Yeah, it's just hello world. It's got to be, there's got to be more information in there that I'm not rendering. So we'll have to do like a deep dive into that. I'm guessing. See, it says this is result index of 13. So I'm guessing that, yeah, I'm guessing that the object is a little bit more complex than I thought it was. I bet you there's more results in here. So that'll be fun to dig into, and maybe things will make a lot more sense when we dig in, and that would be cool. And maybe, yeah. So anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.